Hello gorgeous makeup lovers and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Kerry and I love eyeshadow with an absolute passion. I love reviewing it on my channel, testing out new eyeshadow palettes, older eyeshadow palettes and bright colourful things usually. And I do have a little weakness for Beauty Bay eyeshadows because they are fantastic quality for the price, and I do collect all of the limited edition palettes that Beauty Bay release. They have released another one. This is the Retro Love. So if you want to see how this performs, the swatches and all that good stuff, stick around and subscribe. So this palette, the Retro Love, does retail for £15, just like all of the other limited edition palettes that Beauty Bay release. And regardless of the colourways, I'm going to keep picking these up because I have all of them so far, and it's kind of that little bit of collector mentality, which I don't do with every single brand, but because Beauty Bay is so affordable and the quality is so good usually, I find myself picking up another one. So, before I talk to you about this palette, let's dive into the swatches and the close-ups.
You've seen all the things, all the places. I hope it means that you'll come home to me. Once you've traveled the world, all the spaces inside your heart. I hope I'll be your end destination.
So this palette does come with an outer unicarton box that looks like this, a little bit psychedelic, it is a little bit retro-y. I do quite like the theming of this one. This palette does have 20 shades and 7 of those are shimmers. Now a lot of Beauty Bay shimmers are a putty-like texture, so if that's not something of interest to you and you don't like putty shimmers, you might not like this formula. I find the mattes to be very pigmented and blendable. Usually I'm assuming this is going to be the same quality that Beauty Bay always use for their limited edition palettes, so I've got a little sneaking suspicion that I'm going to enjoy this one. Colour story wise though, I didn't really know what to make of it when I saw it being, well actually it was sneak peeked, unfortunately not by the brand, by a few influencers that had received this in PR, which was a little bit naughty. If you get things in PR, wait for the brand to actually release the pictures. But when I did see this, I did think at least it's colourful, it has got some nice tones in there. For me personally, just looking at this colour story, I don't know, I kind of felt it was a bit meh. Do you know what I mean? But I am excited, it's in my hands now, I'm going to dive into it. Every didn't let me down and steal this parcel, like 5 of my previous parcels, they did actually give me next day delivery, so I'm over the moon about that. Pleased to see we do have some depth. We do have this deep shade here, which actually looks maybe like a really deep charcoal. I'm not sure it's fully black. Looking at this online, I thought it was like a deep purple and I was like, yay! But yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes on the eye, but I definitely think I want to be starting out with this one because I need depth in a look, definitely. We do have some nice light pastel tones and we do have a matte white, which is nice to see. So, let me prime my eyes and then we'll stick this on my face because currently I don't really have a plan. Everything that I'm using in this video and that is already on my face will be down in the description box and it'll all be linked. Some of those links are affiliated, so if you do shop through those, thank you so much for supporting me. And I am priming with my Natasha Denona eyeshadow base. I do have a Beauty Bay playlist if you want to check out all the other reviews that I've done on all the other palettes, and I have done a fairly recent ranking video of all my Beauty Bay palettes, so I'll try and remember to link that somewhere. So like I say, I feel like I want to start out with that deeper shade and it's called It Takes Two and it's this one here, but then I'm not really sure what I want to go into. I do quite like the look of the lilac, I do like the look of the nice pastel green, I like these as well. I'm not so much drawn to the bottom 2 rows of the palette, more the top 2 rows, but I don't know if we're going to include more than that. I'm feeling like maybe a cut crease situation is going to be on the cards just so I can use more shades. So I am going to start out with that shade It Takes Two and I am going to pop that in the outer corner area just so that I have my depth out there because I just think it makes my looks how I want them to be. Not everybody does this and that's absolutely fine. I just feel like makeup should make you happy and it should be exactly how you want it to be and what's right for you. And this is definitely what makes me happier, and that is looking almost black. I wouldn't say it was a midnight black type of shade. And I do just want to focus this on the outer corners and a little bit leading into the crease area. It's packing on really nicely though. This is exactly what I expected from this shade and the Beauty Bay formula, to be honest. Don't know whether these shades are the most buildable because I do usually like to start out with my deepest shade. But they're definitely pigmented and blendable from previous experience. And then with no extra product on my brush, I am just going to tickle on the edges of this almost black. That's how I'm just going to refer to it because it is an almost black shade. And so far, no fallout with this shade. That's quite impressive. I do go in with a heavy hand usually, but I have taken that up high enough that when my slightly hooded eyes are relaxed, you can still see that shade peeking through. But I don't know what it's going to look like at the end, but we're going to be going in with the cut crease anyway, so. Okay, there is a shade that is just staring at me. I'm looking at the palette like, what am I going to do next? And there is a shade that is calling to me, and it is called Magic Moment, and it is this one here. It looks divine. And I am just going to kind of tap that around the edges of what we have already got down. I don't know how well these are going to merge together because we have something super deep and then something more light. I wouldn't necessarily, I mean it's kind of mid-tony, but we'll just see how these blend together. I'm just going super slowly and carefully because I've been known to pack shades on and things get dramatically blown out super quickly. Oh, that shade is stunning. Oh, Heather, this shade is calling your name. Did you order this palette? Then I'm going to go back in with the almost black and just work on a blend between these two shades. I'm thinking I'll definitely do like maybe a 2 or 3 look video with this palette just so that I can use more of the shades, because sometimes reviewing a palette, like I only have 2 eyes. I can only fit so many colours on, and I obviously want to create a cohesive look and not shove everything on my eyes. So if you're interested in more looks with this palette, do definitely stick around and subscribe because I'm going to have to think of some more looks and use more of the shades. Oh, these colours together are beautiful. And I am just going to wiggle out that turquoise shade and make sure it looks more blended around the edges. But I'm happy with how these two shades are merging together. Let me just work on the blend between these and then we'll come back and work out what we're going to do in the inner portion. Okay, then I think I want to go in with that lilac because it looks beautiful, and the shade is called Love and it has a dot in between each letter, and it's this shade here. And I'm going to start to pack that toward the inner corner, and this obviously is a pastel, so I don't really blend pastels, I kind of just pack, otherwise they tend to blend away. But I can't not use that lilac. I am a sucker for a lilac shade. Okay, for a pastel that has packed on quite nicely, but like I say, I don't really go in with a big fluffy brush to blend pastels. I just more pack on, and then as it meets up with that turquoisey blue, I'm just kind of flicking my brush in that direction. And then for the lower lash line, I'm going to go back into that lilac shade, and I am just going to press this onto the lower lash line and hope it shows up, because obviously I haven't got primer down here, which was a nice sticky base that I had on the top. And then back into a little bit of Magic Moment, which was the turquoisey shade, just to lead into that purple. Okay, I'm liking what we've got going on so far. Let me jump off and cut the crease and then we'll play with some more shades. Okay, that is done. So I want to dive into some of these delicious looking shimmers. And I feel like I definitely want to go into My Girl, which is a beautiful lilac shimmer. I'm toying with the idea of River Deep, which is a beautiful blue. Maybe a little bit of Love Train just for the inner corner. And maybe even a little bit of Moon River leading into that deeper shade. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I'm going to start out first with My Girl. Very, very putty-like shimmers. I can see why some people really don't like putty-like shimmers because they are quite difficult to pick up on a brush. Obviously, you can use your finger or a sponge tip applicator, or goat's hair brushes instead of synthetic would usually do the job. I'm totally messed up the look of this pan because maybe I should just go in with my finger. I don't like it because it can't be as precise, but as you can see, the payoff is beautiful. I'm going in with a referral brush now just because it's goat's hair and it definitely does pick up putty-like shimmers a little bit easier. And considering they are quite putty-like, they don't usually break up in my crease, especially when I've got slightly hooded eyes. It doesn't seem to be a problem for me. I feel like Blend Bunny definitely do, but not so much Beauty Bay. Then I'm going to flip my brush over and go into Love Train, which was the white shimmer. I'm not sure if it's got a different sheen to it. I'm not sure. Let me just swatch it. If it is fully white, it looks beautiful. Very, very difficult to pick up, even on a referral brush. I can definitely see why some people just refuse to work with putty shimmers. It's a little bit more finicky, not the easiest, but when they're on, they are stunning. Oh. Okay, let me clean that brush off because I'm probably going to need it for the next blues. I'm going to go into River Deep, which was the lighter blue shimmer. Is Moon River a pressed glitter? No, it kind of looked like... Oh, Moon River is stunning and River Deep... Okay, they might be difficult to pick up, but wow. Right, River Deep, the lighter blue. That's actually picking up a little bit easier than My Girl and Love Train. Maybe slightly different formula. And I'm just going to pop this in between the shimmer and the matte. I just sprayed it just to try and get a little bit more payoff because it wasn't really coming across exactly the same as it did when I swatched it on my finger, and it looked insane on my finger, so I just wanted a little bit more. Okay, then flipping my brush over and going into Moon River, which was the deeper of the blues. And again, that's picking up on the brush a lot better than the first two shimmers. Interesting. I'm just going to pop this just a tiny bit from that lighter blue shimmer leading into that dark blue matte, and it's just going to bridge the gap nicely between the matte and the shimmers. To be honest, that Moon River shade, that deep blue, you could stick that on top of black matte and have a beautiful, beautiful mermaidy smoky eye. I might do that actually for one of the looks in a future video because that shade is stunning. And then back into the mattes just to tap over the edge of the shimmers and make sure everything is blended and seamless. Okay, that's how we're looking right now. Let me jump off, finish up this eye look, and then I'll come back and show you the completed thing and we'll discuss this palette.
You're gone now, but you're coming back. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. You're the traveling kind. It's a known fact. Yeah, I know that.
So here we have the finished look. Okay, I added quite a lot of things. I don't have any regrets. I'll let you know what I used. So I did go in with my Arttitude Cosmetics Split It Painter's Paradise palette because I love this for water activated liner. This was gifted to me by Arttitude, and I used these two shades, these two pastel shades here, which I reach into quite a lot. Absolutely love this for water activated liner, and I did just do two real thin lines, one lilac, one blue, just to sort of line the cut crease and then look a little bit fancy, you know. Then I have got a big pot thing of pearls, all different sizes. I did get this from Amazon. I'll try and remember to link it down below. I feel like it was Amazon and not Shein. It's one of the two. I'll try and remember to link it down below if I can find it. But I just thought adding a few little pearls, it's a little bit different to just gems and, you know, shiny. So I just thought that would add a little bit of interest. I'm really, really pleased how it's come together. The lashes that I used are the House of Boo lashes in the style Alice. And the lip is the Barry M lip liner in Russet, and then I did use one of the new Unearthly Cosmetics satin liquid lipsticks, and it's in the shade Dreamy. But like I say, everything that I've used will be linked in the description box down below if you want to know anything or you missed anything. Overall, I have to say I'm so pleased with how this has come together. I feel like the tone of this lip with the eye, with the sort of fluttery, ethereal looking lashes. I really like this. Please let me know what you think to this look, and I definitely want to do a 2 or 3 look video with this palette because it's obviously got a lot more to offer than just lilac and bluey teals. Now, I didn't want to use as many shades as possible in this look today. I actually wanted to create a look that I was really going to be happy with, and I feel like I did that, and I didn't use as many shades as I would typically want to use when testing out a palette, which is why I'm going to do another video on it. But I just wanted to make something that actually made sense, that wasn't just the palette throwing up on my face, which sometimes I do just to test out all the shades. But from the shades that I used today, I was quite impressed. Even the lilac shade, that does pack on quite nicely for a lilac. The shimmers are the sticking point for me and for a lot of people because they are spectacular. They are stunning. Like, if I swatch a shimmer on my finger, like this palette's £15 and these shimmers are amazing. However, picking them up on the finger is one thing. Picking them up on a brush is another thing. So you have to have a little bit of patience to work with these shimmers compared to some other shimmers. However, having said that, the most difficult shimmers that I picked up today on a brush were Love Train and My Girl. I did find Moon River and River Deep to be a little bit easier to pick up, so there might be a slightly different formula for those shimmers there. I will have to test the other ones. I haven't even swatched this yet as I'm talking to you right now. Obviously, you will have already seen the swatches at the beginning of the video. I didn't use the white. I didn't use the matte white. There's something wrong with me. I could have used that in the inner corner. What is wrong with me? I will definitely be using that matte white in my next video because I love a matte white, and I'm hoping that that is going to be a nice pigmented one that's really good quality. I feel like I could have personally done with a little bit more depth options because the only deep shade in here is this one that is the almost black, and the only other sort of deep shades are sort of this deep brown, this deep sort of burgundy shade, and they're not as deep as I would like them to be. If these two shades had have not been neutrally and a little bit deeper, just to give a little bit more variety, like maybe a really deep purple, that would have been nice, a really deep sort of tealy colour in the mattes, that would, like, I'm just nitpicking because I really like the formula of Beauty Bay. I like their colour stories in general. If it was my perfect palette, if I'd have done this, that is what I would have wanted. I'm excited to dive into the bottom 2 rows. They didn't call to me at first, but I definitely think we can come up with a beautiful Valentine's inspired look because this is obviously a Valentine's release from Beauty Bay, and the pink tones are beautiful in this, and this lovely peach, that is super nice. So I'm excited to play around with this some more, but as I expected, so far this is exactly the same formula that I am used to from Beauty Bay, and I can't wait to play with it a little bit more. I have reviewed all of the limited edition Beauty Bay £20 palettes, and I have to say the consistency for the formula in all of them is more or less the same. Like, I would be very shocked if there was a major difference in any of them because to me they have all performed very similarly, just with obviously different packaging and different colourways. And I guess this just, do you want this colourway? That's the question. If you know Beauty Bay formula, I would personally say this was the same. Do you like this colour story? This reminds me of something, and I can't put my finger on what it is. This colour story is a little, it reminds me, is it an ABH palette? Riviera. I've just decluttered that. It's a little bit of Riviera. Are we getting that vibe? Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video, guys. It does mean the world. If you could please like and comment down below. Let me know what you think of this palette, this look. Are you picking it up? Have you picked it up? Do let me know. My socials will be linked down below, as well as my YouTube membership and my Patreon group. So if that's of interest, check all that stuff out, and I will be back with more looks with this palette. So please do subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.